Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Can I be honest, just right off the bat?
Please.
Just
This is a vulnerable space.
I just took a fat rip off my Flonase, and I feel like I'm ready to take on the world. I can smell everything right now. Allergies, don't know them.
Don't know. Wow. You know, that's the beauty of, like, the home studio, you know?
I wish that this was sponsored just because, like, Flonase is not cheap, you know? And allergies fucking suck.
Right, sure.
Yeah. But if any of you are embarrassing people like myself who are prone to getting bloody noses in the dry weather like myself, Flonase is that bitch.
Damn.
Who will moisten your little nose cavity things. So, congrats. Sometimes you just need to take a good sniff of that wet,
Just a little whiff.
whatever,
Yeah.
the little wet juice. I don't know what that shit is. Hi. Welcome to Info
Hello.
Twilight.
Oh my gosh, hi.
I feel like before we even talk about how we're doing, I just
Right.
want to let you all know that we've seen your demands for us to talk about the Cars universe.
Uh-huh.
And how, yes, we get it that the Cars universe has had 9/11 happen in it,
Right.
which means
Yeah.
MCR, which means Twilight, which
Right.
means 50 Shades. Hey, listen.
The whole ripple effect, the dominoes of culture.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Mater having a playroom is the thing.
Yes.
And I don't want to think about it.
Why would you even put that
I don't want to.
in my brain? I was living a pretty okay life without
Because
that
here's the thing.
in my mind.
Is that's what you all jump to, right? Because the average person in Cars only knows, like, Lightning McQueen and Mater.
Sure.
But you
Right.
all, if you're real fucking Cars fans, know that the Italian car and
Yes.
the sheriff car, who
Yes.
Brittany Broski is always sweating over,
Right, just
fan
thirsting
behavior,
over publicly.
those two cars
Yeah.
would definitely be in a playroom together. And that's all I'm going to say on this matter. And I don't want to talk
That's
about
it.
it on the show again. Also, that tiny car who's always like taking tires off,
Oh, yes.
definitely fucks. Okay, I'm done. I can't
Right.
talk about this anymore.
Yeah, anymore, and we will get arrested. The FBI will jump
We already
in.
have an explicit tag. We can't get anything worse, but they
Cannot
will.
push this. Oh, God.
iTunes will personally come to our houses and be like, you gotta knock this shit off. Like, you can't.
Right.
You can't do it.
Please stop for your own safety and the well-being of your listening audience.
Yeah, like the mental health of people. Can you just, like, not immediately when you start recording, just, like, not do that?
Yeah, so if you want to invoice us for your impending therapy fees, you know, we'll DM us, we'll talk about it.
Or,
sorry.
better yet, send us Twilight and Cars crossover fanfiction. I will happily read it to Cody on it.
No. I would not like that.
You know, wink. Our email is
I'm
open.
just gonna bleep everything we've said.
Just
the last
various
2 minutes.
bleeps on there so it sounds far more explicit. Absolutely. Cody, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been trying to teach myself how to play chess to not great success.
Oh.
But that's not my happy thing because it's giving me a lot of emotional stress because I'm not very good at it yet. But my happy thing is what I frantically texted you about earlier today, which
we
is,
do need to talk about this.
We need to talk about it. It's important. First of all, Tegan and Sarah are on TikTok. That's great. I love that for them.
It's
I'm
where
very
they
happy.
belong, I feel.
I think so too. I think if we want to like, know your roots, you know what I mean? Like get the baby gays on TikTok and be like, hey, listen, you gotta be gay and sad and also maybe dance and listen to this. Thank you.
100%.
But they've been doing this like kind of promotional thing because I guess Heartthrob came out 8 years ago, which sounds not real.
That sounds fake.
But I guess that is true. So they're doing like little minute lookbacks of all of the songs and what they mean and where they came from, and they're very silly and lovely, and I love them. But they made one for Love They Say, which is the song on the album, and Tegan says that they had originally wrote it for one of the Twilight soundtracks. And that
made me want to die.
Made me want to die, because first of all, I don't know if you remember Love They Say, but it's very much like coming of age teen end credit song movie.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like very happy, very like whenever people if like someone made a fan edit of Twilight and being like, what if it was like just a very chill, happy rom-com that had no drama or violence or anything. Like, that's the song they would use for that.
100%. I always saw it when people did fan vids of Perks of Being a Wallflower and they're in the tunnel standing up. It was always that song. 100%.
Totally. But this also led me down a rabbit hole because I was like, this is breaking news information. I feel like we need to talk about
Absolutely.
this.
It's investigative journalism.
Thank you. I do great work. But apparently in 2009, Tegan and Sarah did an interview with MTV News where they talked about Twilight because apparently when they were recording Sainthood, they read all of the Twilight books. All of them. And she says that her and one of the producers who's also a Death Cab producer, and they were like both reading at the same time and like nerding out to each other about Twilight while making Sainthood together. Which, like, what?
Why wasn't I contacted about this information?
Yeah.
Just because I was in high school doesn't mean you couldn't have told me. Hello?
Right. This is very important information.
Absolutely. Oh my god. Can you imagine?
So all the strings, everything's connected.
100%.
Everything goes back to Twilight. Everything in culture goes back to Twilight.
That's what we've been saying for years.
Yes.
And the fact that it's being confirmed feels surreal.
Yeah.
I think that, especially because Tegan said in that video that it was supposed to be a new moon, which, like, hello?
Yeah,
not
right,
new moon.
What? Could you imagine the fucking Depression month sequence with just, like, love this, like, super happy. If someone wants to edit that, maybe I'll fucking do it. I just think that'd be so fucking funny.
I feel like if anything in that movie, it would have been when Bella was dying, like, in the water, because, like,
sure,
it would have just been like, I'm so afraid. Offbeat. Or the only thing that I could have thought of is when she's coming back off of the airplane when they come back from Italy, and she's so sleep deprived. She's, like, afraid to fall asleep with Edward there. Right. She's afraid it's all a dream. She's been up for like 36 hours, and everything just feels like a dream. And that's like when you're in an airport and it's like coming back home, it's all dark, everything feels kind of surreal, like that, I guess. But it is not the movie for that. Not a vibe.
No.
Everything in that movie is too sad for that.
Yeah, no.
And Tegan and Sarah are like sad, so they could have chosen any other song.
Seriously, all of their work, like, that album is a blip in terms of the larger, like, discography of, like, sad and atmospheric and fall and cold and vampire adjacent. Like, those all get the feelings there. But this was just the one time they're like, hell yeah, this is it.
So weird.
Wild.
What a weird choice.
I know. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm just living. Just, just all vibes.
Yes.
And not a bad vibe in the world. Couldn't be.
Mm-mm.
Not me.
No.
Not me. I'm just getting through it at this point.
Yeah.
Counting down the days to what you ask? I don't know. Just counting down.
Just
Yeah. Just counting.
To be determined,
Just gotta count down to what? I'll figure it out.
We'll get there when we get there.
Right, exactly. Yep, I'm just making it through. I have a happy thing this week. I'm reminded weekly at this point how singular of a type that I have, and this will come up a little bit later when we're talking about the book, weirdly enough. But a fellow friend of the podcast, Jordan,
yes,
tweeted between the time that our episode went up last week and now about one of my favorite characters in all of television, Nick Miller.
Yes.
And I just want to spend just a moment, because this reminded some of my fellow folks on Twitter about Nick Miller. And I love that piece of shit dearly.
Yeah.
Very aggressively my type of just a surly, just a sad face of a man.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I adore him. New Girl is very much one of those shows I rewatch often.
Right.
Just because I love a good 20-minute episode.
Yeah, for
of
sure.
Something.
Little snack.
It is. It's a good snack. And New Girl's the kind of show that it has a plot for sure, but I can just put it on in the background.
Right.
And it's funny, and I can just keep it on, and I appreciate a show like that.
Yeah. I've definitely been thinking about rewatching New Girl, because I haven't watched it in forever, and I'm like, am I emotionally ready to fall in love with Nick Miller again? I don't.
Yes,
that's something you got to consider, though. It's like, ooh.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame that my type is Nick Miller sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Because I start thinking, like, oh, he definitely walks the fine line of, like, so many of my shitty exes who,
sure.
I've talked about before, who, like, slept with only a sleeping bag. No bed frame, just a sleeping bag and a fucking will to live. And also, but then I remember, like, that sexual tension until him and Jess kissed in the hallway, and I'm like, you know what, maybe it's worth watching New Girl again. So
there's something to be said too of the Nick Miller to finding out your bisexual pipeline. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, that's what I'm saying.
Most bisexual people on Twitter that I know of have a Nick Miller story. You know what I mean? There's something.
100%.
There's a Venn diagram there.
Mainly because also, and this was also part of the conversation that happened too, which I'm so glad people talked about, is the people that he pulls are unreal.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do not know a lot of straight people that like Nick Miller.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Just because I think that a lot of straight people that I know like Schmidt, which is fine.
Sure. Sure.
That's fine. Or Winston, because Winston's also great.
Yeah.
I know my type.
Right. I know my truth.
It's not. My truth is Nick Miller.
Yeah.
So.
You are valid.
Oh, God, I love that show. The show's great. Speaking of fucking romance, when this episode comes out, it's going to be close to Valentine's Day. And we, as we have for so many years, have some good old Valentine's Day content for you, starting with, of course, Twilight Valentine's Day content.
Yes.
As usual, we have a little bit of a Screen Rant corner.
Pew, 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 pew,
Thank you,
pew.
Screen Rant. Who I think we have a repeat writer of Amanda Steele.
Oh, yes.
Mainly because
Welcome
I looked
back.
at that and I was like, what's up, Anastasia Steele? And I think I made that joke last time. So,
Yes.
But it is gracing my favorite blondes in this world. So thank you, Amanda, for giving me both Daddy Carlisle and Rosalie in their really shitty wigs. So thank you.
Yes.
And this is where the main characters of Twilight would take you on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
Cody, would you like to start?
Sure. I mean, I gotta go with number 2, Charlie Swan.
100%.
Just a classic dive bar and a beer.
Listen, this is why I love this man.
Yes. I know exactly what to expect from him. He's incredibly easy to read.
He is consistent.
Yes.
And also, listen, I know that it's some people's thing, but the last thing that I want to do in the before times, but also now, is have a 2-hour overpriced dinner.
Sure.
Just for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No.
We can go to a dive bar. I love that.
Yes. Huge fan.
Love this man. I love this really sad photo that they chose of this man, and I love this sad
This
man.
is the most, like, divorced dad photo of him you could possibly grab.
Speaking of which, I just mainly need to talk about number 7 here because the concept for this one is niche, but it's very accurate. Number 7 is Jasper Hale. And folks, if I can just take you to your mind palace, please, and to imagine this one. Think about, for just a moment, where you would imagine Jasper Hale, the Mr. Romance, right? Who can make you feel anything, where he would take you for Valentine's Day. Now, might I suggest where Amanda Steele has envisioned this instead, who has taken this character who is undeniably weird, hard to imagine, has a really fucked up history.
Yeah.
And has decided that his idea of romance is to look at the sunset quietly.
It's the quietly that really says An ideal date with Jasper is like no talking, because I know you're just going to talk about the before times. And how about we just look at this beautiful sky together?
Not a sit out on a blanket, have dinner, or a picnic. Nope, just go somewhere, stand, watch the sunset quietly, and then go our separate ways.
Maybe just look out the window. It's like, hey, that's a beautiful sky.
100%.
Oh my god.
100%. It's just very good to me.
Yes. I love also number 10, Rosalie, in which it just has the gall to say, oh, she's not taking you out on a date. You have to take her out on a very fancy date.
You know what? One, that's written like it's a bad thing, which is, I don't think that that's accurate.
Listen,
and
Rosalie
also,
does deserve to be cherished and appreciated.
100%.
And spoiled.
And also, I want her to be spoiled. And also, the idea that Rosalie at this point is not very specific about her needs and would not know exactly where to go and wouldn't have an awesome idea. Inaccurate.
Yeah, she's got a plan. Maybe she wants you to figure out first, but she will tell you if it's wrong and she'll pick her plan.
Exactly. I think my last choice here is gotta be number 1 of Daddy Carlisle, of a fancy dinner at home that he made for just for you.
Ugh, what a treat.
And I love that. Just lots of ambiance, lots of candles, lots of flowers.
I do like the idea of being in a relationship with a vampire and them painstakingly making you food that they will not eat and will just watch you eat.
100%. Knowing for a fact that you will probably need to, like, coax them into having a bite that they will then just, like, yak up like a cat later on. Yes. I completely agree.
On the bright side, you'll probably get leftovers, and that's pretty sick.
You will probably get leftovers.
You just take that home.
The portions that you have to do for cooking for one person are so obnoxious.
Yeah, unreal. There's no way.
There's no way. 100%. So, fantastic choices there, Amanda. Yes. Good work.
Thank you.
On the other end of the spectrum of good jobs,
the darker, more sinister. We do.
Cody, could you introduce us to the corner of the internet where crimes live?
My search history is really not a fan of me today because of
yeah, same.
what I've been looking at. So this came to our attention because there was like a gift guide of Valentine's Day fun for your partner, or whatever, gifts, I don't know. And one of which was from the lingerie / maybe sex toy shop Love Honey, where they apparently have a 50 Shades of Grey lingerie collection signed off and given the go-ahead by E.L. James herself.
And on the surface, right, I know that you all can imagine what this looks like. And you're not far off base. You're not.
No, definitely
What
not.
I want to emphasize before we describe what this looks like is I want you to keep in mind that this crossed over the eyes of E.L. James herself and got the stamp of approval.
Yeah.
That this woman looked at these and thought, yes, someone could wear this, feel sexy, and then might wear it for another person and would look sexy too.
Yes.
So keeping that in mind, this collection went out to celebrate 10 years of 50 Shades of Grey, which makes me feel like the fucking Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
And aside from the usual collection of not just like sex toys, which sure, and I think we've talked about those before, I want to focus more specifically on the lingerie itself.
I have so many questions.
It is a nightmare.
About the design process. Every part of this looks like riddles. They all look like you're in an escape room when putting this on.
Okay, so same. I was thinking about that when I was looking at this, of like, how would you get this on? First of all, that is, okay, so how would you get this on?
Yes.
How would a potential partner or partners get this off of you without ripping it further than how it's intentional supposed to look?
Yeah.
And also, this is so expensive for what looks like is made out of just, like, satin. Or the cheapest version of that.
Yeah.
Like, just pantyhose material.
I'm not a fashion designer by any and all means, but the construction on some of these looks questionable. One of them has like a collar and it looks like it's just fastened to the top with a seatbelt. Like it just looks deranged. Some of these strings are like seconds away from falling off, it looks like.
100%. And a lot of these come across like Halloween costumes in the sense of like, oh, dope, I'm going to wear this once, but I know I'm not going to wear it again because it cannot be washed.
Right.
It cannot be washed.
No way.
I also want a chance, if I may, and E.L. James, I know you're listening to this, so this works out great. I just want to take a second to ask why you approved of this lingerie. Specifically because why is ass out in this lingerie? What's the deal with having both ass and boobs out on all of these?
Yeah. At what point is this no longer lingerie? You know, like at what point is this not clothes? Or like, so many full butts just sticking out, which, like, hey, if that's your thing, I love it. If that makes you feel sexy, that's great. I don't remember Anastasia being full ass in like a lingerie thing. Never.
That's true. I do remember in 50 Shades of Grey that they did have Dakota Johnson's boobs out quite a bit.
Sure.
But they did not show just full, like, butt crack.
Right. Yeah.
A lot.
No.
And it's just, when looking at this, I was like, shit, I'd be really cold. Like,
yes!
I would be really cold.
Yeah, yeah. Especially the full ass ones are just lace. So it's like, you're already not getting a lot of protection there, and you've just chopped off a big ratio of comfort and protection from the elements.
I just have a lot of questions from the designers of like, hey, what's up? Why you think, especially when like, butt cheeks, sex, like, what's up?
Sure,
Butt's cute.
Yes,
but like the ass
butt.
crack, honestly, the butt crack, come on.
The crack.
that is what people make, like, sitcom jokes out of.
Sure. Yeah.
But, absolutely.
Yes.
But, like, come on. Stop.
Yeah.
This isn't like Kings of Queens.
No.
Stop it. Like,
before we close this tab forever and never look back at it, I will say that on the descriptions for each and every one of these products, it does quote 50 Shades of Darker, the famous line, I'm sure we all remember, wow, they feel ... slinky ... and kind of ... hot. Yeah.
stop it. Stop.
And all of these are crescent with a 50 Shades of Grey tiny pendant somewhere hidden. If you zoom in close, you'll find it on every single one of them. It's there, just lurking.
Yep.
Little 50 Shades of Grey pendant.
So if you did want to surprise your partner or partners this Valentine's Day season with clothing, specifically lingerie, just know that if you buy it from this collection, you will have to explain to them that it is from the 50 Shades of Grey collection.
Oh my god.
That will have to be a conversation that you have. I
am just seeing this. There is a pair of underwear on here that has a row of pearls where the pussy is.
Hey, folks, you know how your pussy is pearls sometimes? Just, hey.
Oh my god, imagine having, like, crossing your legs at any moment. Like that.
oh my god.
That sounds so
and that just feels like a do not pass go.
Right. That seems like a warning.
To UTI jail. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a do not enter sign. That is not a, hey, I'm feeling sexy tonight. Let's go.
Right, exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that feels like a fucking abacus to UTI jail. Like, no thank you.
Yeah.
They need to stop it. I hate this so much.
God.
Could you close us out of Current Events Corner with some good news, please?
Yes. Oh my gosh. A beautiful palate cleanser from the crimes we just subjected you to. Boo Boo Stewart, our main man, our favorite boy, is gonna be the star of a movie called Caleb's Crossing. It's an adaptation of a book. He's gonna be lead boy.
Finally.
It's what he deserves. I'm very excited. This look, I know nothing about the book, but it looks sick.
And also it sounds cool as hell. Like, I love the name.
Yeah, it does have...
It sounds strong.
Cool vibes.
Yeah. I'm excited for this. I love being able to see folks that didn't start on Twilight, but, like, got strong notoriety on Twilight, now moving beyond to other projects that are not the live adaptation of The Grinch. So I'm very excited to support Boo Boo Stewart.
And he's gonna, like, produce it, too?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yes. He does have a great name.
And I adore him, so I'm very excited for this.
Let's go, Boo Boo.
Let's go, Boo Boo! I love him.
Yes.
When it comes out, let's release limited edition merch that says Oops All Boo Boo.
Oops All Boo Boo! Yes,
Oops,
and his beautiful head of hair just, like, flowing.
I love him. We have a couple questions here. First, starting off with a lovely patron, Aaron, who asks a Fuck, Marry, Kill J name edition from Stephanie of Jacob Black. Oh, I guess this isn't all Stephanie. Jacob Black, Joe Goldberg, or Jared. No last name provided.
Yeah. Ugh, no. No.
Kill Joe Goldberg.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know a lot about Jared.
Right. We don't know anything. He's just like Jared, you know? He's just...
I agree. I'm a fucking though. Listen.
Yeah. I think that's the chain of events that leads to the least amount of harm, you know? Because Jacob, you could just be like, friend married. Like, oh, we like taxes. We own a house. Like, we're just chilling. We're fun. We're hanging out. I don't want anything else to do with him, though.
Yeah, I will get married to Jacob Black. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
If I could go back and tell my 2007 self, like, hey, what's up? you're going to be talking about getting married to Jacob Black when you're almost hitting your 27-year-old self, she would pass out. She'd be like, goals. Great. Good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to listening to LMFAO at this point.
Sorry, I'm busy party rocking. I can't. I don't know what this is, but I have shit to do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go back to listening to Copa Starships at this point, but fuck off, I guess. That's great. Okay, we got some information here from Carrie, who did say they were very interested in a 4 Weddings bonus Jonas, which, yes, happy to do that.
Yes.
We did get another question from Aaron, who asked, not really related to the host, but are y'all planning on reading the 3rd book in the You series when it comes out in April?
I mean, I guess we gotta, right?
Right? I thought we had read all of them, and then I forgot that we had only read 2.
Yeah, I guess there are more. I guess then that means the show is really, I mean, it already took its own turn in, like, how it's going to tell the story or whatever, obviously, but, like, they are really doing the whole new season without any source material at all.
Right, exactly.
That
exciting. Does make me curious, because I know that we had seen we had seen a photo of My Short King on the set of You Season 3, but I know that they had to pause filming, and I'd heard rumors that the Season 3 was coming out this fall, so that might actually line up fairly well with things. But yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, I thought we were done, so thanks for the reminder that
our work is never finished.
We're never done. We'll be here just live tweeting from the apocalypse. So we have a couple of chapters this week.
Yes.
That, I don't know about you, but they kind of blended into one long chapter for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a choice on Stephanie's part.
Yeah, it felt like just one little monologue situation. Like,
right.
This is all just the same kind of stuff, but separated for some reason.
We haven't made Wander talk to other people for the first 200 pages of this book, but what if now they just talk for 2 chapters? How about that?
Right.
What if that?
Yeah.
So the last time that we left off, Jeb was still just given tours of the cave. The way that I imagine him is that he just gives a daily tour of the cave, even though people have been there for years at this point. And if people get bored enough to come along, they just, like, follow him. And now that Wander is new, he's like, yes, someone will finally come with me on my daily walk around the caves.
Right.
But when we were last leaving off, it wasn't just Jeb and Wander. It was all... Fuck, there's so many J names. It was Jeb and Wander and Jamie and Ian and the doctor, who are apparently 2 different people.
What?
And that's what you missed on Glee.
Yes. All my J's are here. All my boys.
All my J's are here. Save Jared, because that guy fucked off and did a raid or something.
Yeah.
So, great. Now, we're on to chapter 21. Super interesting stuff, in the sense that the tour ends pretty early on, after they hit the hospital wing, and Wanda loses it, in the sense that both Wanda and Melanie are like, hi, sorry, you walked us to the hospital wing with the doc. Interesting how that worked out.
Right.
This feels like a trick.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, would have been a pretty good trick. To the point where Jeb starts laughing when Wander asks about it, and Wander looks over at Ian and is like, oh, lol, that would have been really funny. Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
I wish it was like, that funny, man. Fuck, that would be sick.
My dude. No.
Yeah.
No, sir. But it was just to finish up the tour. When they end up coming back, Jamie, who I think at this point is 14, because that's when kids become adults,
right?
In Stephanie's mind.
Yes. He's past his coming of age.
He is now a teen, but he's now an adult.
Yeah.
In this apocalyptic world. And Jeb asks Jamie, Jesus Christ. Jeb asks Jamie.
Oops, all J's.
Oops, all J's. To stand guard. And so he gives Jamie the gun.
So,
And this is when things get dangerous. Because
right.
Wanderer, aka Melanie in this moment, because Melanie is the one that kind of pops off, was like, hi, sorry, what?
Yeah.
This is a child.
This is kid. You can't give
Did
kid
you
gun.
realize?
Do you see how small
dare
and fragile?
as a kid. We don't do this.
No.
I know that we're in an apocalypse now or whatever, but me, Melanie, and my child, Jamie, we were raised pacifists, so we don't touch guns.
Right.
And again, this is coming out of what they see as Wanderer, the alien. And Jamie gets very mad and very angry because he's an adult. And
I can hold a gun if I want to, okay? Fuck.
Which is Stephanie's favorite trope to do. Very a la Seth in this moment.
Big Seth vibes.
Very like, I'm not a child in this space. So, of course, now that they are back in what we are calling Wanderer's temporary cave hole bedroom moment, which is that other guy's, it is just a waiting this out kind of pouting, knowing inevitably Jamie will get curious enough to start asking questions, which, hey, shockingly, he does, because it's a new person and who looks like his sister. And so, of course, after about an hour, Jamie starts asking about what it was like for a Wanderer in these other places. Then starts Wanderer's story time video, which is like an hour long.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's just a 50-minute YouTube video where Wanderer's like, hey guys, welcome back to my channel.
Today, we're going to the cave.
And we're going to talk about all of my experiences on other planets that we have conquered. I mean, we have visited.
Yeah, definitely not
Anyways.
Colonialism. For sure. Don't read into it. It's chill.
Anyways, I'm going to be trying this new concealer. And we're going to be talking about my first planet, the bats on the singing world.
Oh my god. These planets are wild. And I know we talked about this, that they were going to get weirder and wilder, but man, there's...
But like, what?
Hello? There's also way too much spider talk going on here. I was very uncomfortable by the spider talk.
As I was reading this chapter, I was like, holy shit, Cody is listening to this, and that gave me so many creepy crawlies.
Yeah, it was like listening to a true crime podcast. I was like, oh, this gives me bad tingles. This is what I'm getting.
No, thank you.
Yeah. But I also, on the plus side, didn't have to read the words seaweeds as it is spelled in the Stephanie Meyer.
No.
Way. I just got to hear it. So, that I was spared in that respect.
One of the highlights of reading this, though, was when Jamie starts asking about what we here think of as aliens, like the green guys with the triangle heads.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you don't understand. Like, what about the ones in Roswell?
Like, right.
And Wanderer's like, no, I don't know what you're, hey, that's not us. And he's like, is it fake? Like, what do you mean?
What do you
is
know?
It fake?
Do you know Area 51? Were you there?
He's like, cut the cameras, Wanderer, deadass, tell me what's going on.
What is in the Pentagon? What are they hiding from us?
He's like taking notes. He's like, no, seriously, not a joke. You need to tell me right now.
Like,
and
it's
Wanderer's
cool.
like,
you can be honest with me. We're cool. Like, we're fine. I'm not going to rat you out or anything. Just tell me. I need to know.
Also, are you okay with this being recorded?
Right.
Wander, go. Tell me. And Wanderer's like, hey, this is a big universe, all right? It could have been someone else. Yeah. Knock it off. Just let me tell my story, okay? Goddamn. But yeah, there's a lot of fucking talk about spiders in the sense that, like, apparently this spider world is where I couldn't tell if it's where they came from or if like, Wander just really fucking liked the spider world. But hey,
right.
Stephanie, cut that shit out. All right?
Yeah, no more. No, thank you.
Because what this made me realize is I've always thought, based on where I grew up, that the weird people were the horse people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up in a place where it very much bordered city life and country life. Like, I grew up where 5 miles one way was an aggressively metropolitan place, and you go 5 miles in another direction and you can't get self-serve. Like, it's fucking weird.
Right.
And so the weird kids were the horse, like the 4-H kids.
Right. Yeah.
You don't fuck with those kids. They pretend they're horses in daycare. It's scary shit.
Right.
And, like, they're weird. And that, listen, I was also raised to be a horse kid, but I got out early enough, so it's all right. I was part of it. This made me realize that I think there is a different kind of kid, which is a Stephanie kid, which is I was raised in the desert and I fuck with spiders kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bug kid.
Yeah.
And that is really scary to me. Because nothing scares me more than if I was to go to a friend's house and they were like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, cool, do you want to play Barbies? You want to take their clothes off and, like, cut their hair and shit? And they're like, no, do you want to see my spider? And I'd be like, I gotta call my mom. No, thank you. What's going on? That's terrifying. Because there's a lot of talk about spiders here. And Stephanie, what are you going through? Hey.
You good?
Blink twice if you're good.
Right.
Don't wear a peach-colored lipstick if you are not good, okay?
If this is a cry for help.
If you are not good, don't wear a coral lipstick. Stephanie. It's okay. Anyways, Jeb finally comes in and is like, Jamie, where the hell have you been? You have chores to do. And he's like, anyways, I'm talking to my fake sister. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
When Jeb finally starts talking with Wander, he admits that he's been eavesdropping for quite a while, which is a choice to be honest about. He also asks about where Wander got the name Wander, which, weird thing to say at this point and not have asked about the origin, but sure. And Jeb is also like, cool. It's interesting that you have, like, a history to your name. I would love to hear about that more. Do you mind if I call you something that's not your name?
Is it cool if I just give you a fun little nickname? So it's less weird that you're a weird alien weirdo?
Is it okay if I, like, instead of respecting your culture and calling you by a name that has, like, an important history and, like, a memory to you, I call you a different name instead because it's easier for me? Is that cool with you? Cool, I'm gonna call you Wanda.
An objectively worse name, might I add.
What the fuck is it with Stephanie and these making characters have long names where they don't like being called the 5-letter name?
Literally,
it's like,
Wanda,
we got Bella. Like, what the fuck?
They have very clear, like, cool names. I'm gonna impose this nickname onto you without you getting any agency in it. Hello? Wander is such a cool fucking name. Wanda.
It is.
Wanda.
And this is where, folks, I want to take a brief pause to talk about WandaVision, which we're not sponsored by.
No. Believe it or not, we are not sponsored by Disney or Marvel.
Believe it or not, we're not. Though I can be bought.
Listen, I will be bought by the mouse if the check is good.
I do just want to say that for those of you that are watching WandaVision, it does have 4 of the most beautiful people in this planet.
Yes.
Including, but not limited to, Kat Dennings, Catherine Hahn, Tana Paris, Randall Park. Like, hello?
Yeah.
Anyways, now that apparently people are going to just call Wanda,
sure.
I'm going to lose my shit.
I'm going to become the Joker.
This is my Joker moment, actually, I think. So, chapter 22, this might shock you folks, but it is just more of the same.
Yeah.
Wanda. Just telling more stories. And, like, it's cool, because it's stuff about Wanda.
Yeah.
And we don't get a lot of that.
Right.
there's specifically a part in chapter 22 where where Jeb is like, wandering, guess that's your specialty, eh, Wanda? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, knock it off. Hey, stop it. But there's a part of this chapter where Jeb realizes that it is not just Wander inside of this vessel. And Melanie starts to freak out, understandably.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, and I would argue that Melanie and Wander start to freak out because what do you do in that situation? Especially because Jeb is... What I imagine when Stephanie was writing this chapter is that she was like, how do I take this situation, which I really liked in Twilight, where I had Jacob Black, who didn't know that Bella knew about the vampires, which was great. And I guess maybe if I had that, I can take that situation and I can turn it into Jamie. Okay, great. I got that. But then I need to have someone who's suspicious and knows that the jig is up. Maybe if I take the same situation that I did with Billy Black, I can do that with Jeb. And then her mind just explodes. And she does that here where she's like, Jeb kind of like has figured it out.
Right.
But he doesn't directly say it. He's just like, it's really interesting that, like, you know, you're not like all of the other aliens that we've met.
You're not like other girls.
You're not like other girls.
Frantically
like
Googling, is it okay to be attracted to an alien that's kind of your girlfriend, but kind of not?
And also, like, kind of your niece,
right,
but, like,
but
not.
Also,
and
I'm so confused.
Just using, like, any possible data that exists at this time,
Yeah.
like satellite.
Right.
But he's like, you know, you're not like any of the Seekers we've met. You're not like a healer. If you didn't come out here to die or to kill us, then you probably came out here because you were trying to find your brother and Jared. And he's like, why the fuck would you care? You would only care if you were either turning human or if your soul doesn't really disappear when, you know, like, those transform. And both Wander and Melanie are just, like, screaming inside, like, oh, fuck. Like, he's... What if he's, you know, this whole time, like, he wasn't what people said and, like, he wasn't crazy? Like, he's a genius. And Wander's like, no, dude, he's both. Like,
yeah.
I think that's how he survived this long, is, like, he's kind of got it figured out. But then, like, he doesn't really care after that point.
Right.
He's just kind of like, all right, I guess, sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to teach my other niece? What about that?
How about
But
that?
then Wander's like, you know, I was only a professor in college, like, teaching history in college because I knew about these other planets. And Jeb's like, yeah, that's close enough to U.S. history. It'll be fine. Like, you can teach my other niece. It'll be chill.
Yeah.
It's all good. Then he did eventually start to ask, like, why Wander is called Wander, which is when we get a lot of great alien names, such as Dry Water.
Ooh, yes.
Such as Fingers in the Sky.
Yes, love it.
Such as Falling Upward. Or, my personal favorite, Pam's in the Gyms.
Pam's in the Gyms is very good. I'm a big fan of that.
Pam's in the Gyms. You know, just adding a little bit of spice in there. This is also the part, too, where Jamie starts asking, like, so how do you feel about Earth? Are you planning to stay? Do you want to stay forever? How would you rate it so far out of all of these other places that you have gone to? Which I thought was quite pure. But it has been quite a while that they have just been sitting and listening to Wander speak. So they do get relieved for Doc to take watch, which is when Wanda gets incredibly freaked out. Because at this point, I don't know what this doctor looks like, because I associated the doctor being Ian for a long time.
Right. Yeah, we had no real idea. The doc was just any other random character that we kind of knew.
100%. And so by the end of this, Wanda is just very grateful to hear the doc like snoring and breathing, because they know where he is located outside of the door. But then there's this sound and the chapter ends. So we have to wait until next week to hear who is entering into their bedroom. So hopefully chapters 23 and 24 will give us some conclusion. Or they won't, and we'll just never know what happened with that.
Hey, who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Definitely not us until we find out. But until then, we have quite a few patrons to thank.
Yes.
For all of our lovely work here. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Shout out to Mallory Hardwick.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Katie Black.
Pew, pew, pew. Shout out Kylie Minty.
Pew, 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 pew.
Mm.
Thank you to Elizabeth James.
Wah, wah, wah. Shout out Jess Love.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out Carrie Goldberg. Woo.
Wow. Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Ow. Yeah.
Ow, ow, ow.
Thank you, Zoe Steele.
Woohoo. Thank you to Rebecca Cullen.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh.
Shout out Amy Taylor. Mm-mm.
Woohoo! Thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch.
Who just got a cool ass straw last time I saw.
Oh, I did see that. That was very good. Shout out Mulch. And that personalized straw. I want a Mulch straw just for me.
I also want a Mulch straw, to be honest.
Shout out Taylor, Brown, Town, Watner. Ooh.
Thank you to Aaron Weber.
Wow. Shout out Gwen Stanley. Wow.
Gwen, I still don't know if we're saying your name right, so can you let us know? Thanks.
Yeah, if we've been mispronouncing it this whole time, please.
Please don't let us get away with that shit. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We need to be held accountable.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Oh, elegance, yes. Thank you to Bailey Christian.
Thank you to Jay Molina.
Ow, yeah. Thank you, Cassandra Bomer. Ooh. Ooh.
Thank you to Kaylee Beck, my mom.
Oh. Yeah. Shout out Aaron Salinger. Oh. Yes.
Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh. Yes. Thank you to India Peach.
India Peach.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you to Casey Yorkie.
Ow. Ow. Ooh. Thank you to Sarah Blythe.
And last, but certainly not least, thank you to Lara 40.
Aw, yeah. Ooh.
I have a fan fiction for you today. Here's the thing. I grabbed a piece of fan fiction here that was seasonal for Valentine's Day. And then I was personally shocked that it was with the turn that it took. So this is Valentine's Day by Kiki Warbler. I'm assuming that is a Glee reference.
Yes.
This was because of the fact that this was published on February 13th of 2011. And it has no description on it. But I made the safe assumption that it is about Valentine's Day, given the title.
Yes.
And then I read the first 5 paragraphs, and I was shocked. So I would like to take you on this journey with me. Just for context, since I did not have that when I was reading this, this is an AU where Edward Cullen is a professor in college, and Bella Swan is one of his college students.
Ooh.
That might help you be less confused than I was. Again, folks, this is titled Valentine's Day. These tests were horrible. Edward Cullen yelled at his art history class. They looked at him like he was an alien. They knew they didn't care about his class. He knew that they were all there to just slack off. Art history was a dying breed, and nobody cared. Out of 22 students, only 2 of you passed. It was an open book test. How can you fail an open book test? So here's the deal. I'm going to give you guys the test again. But Isabella Swan and Alice Brandon are exempt from taking the test. And do you know why? Because they fucking passed. He said, throwing the papers down on the desks of the students that failed. He passed Bella's desk and put the papers down on her desk gently. He smiled at her, and she looked up at the papers. She smiled, satisfied that her grades were still up. She saw the note at the bottom of the page. Meet me, 4 p.m. I've got a surprise for you. End scene.
Wow. Wow. Oh, man.
That was, when I expected that story to be fluff, and I did not get fluff. I got yelling and screaming. It was quite a surprise.
A little bit of a bait and switch, I would say.
I would
keep you on
argue
your toes, I guess.
That as well. A little bit of a Warbler bait and switch.
Yeah.
A little bit of a Ryan Murphy bait and switch right there.
Yeah.
Well, folks, whether or not you choose to celebrate Valentine's Day, good on you. Celebrate it from your homes if you're planning to.
Yes.
And also get that good discounted candy. Because that's what I like.
Yes. February 15th, best holiday. It's just, everything is 90% off at Walgreens, and it's great.
Well, folks, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest.
Get bit.
And get whipped.
Ooh.
Woo!
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. Our theme music is by Eli Krauss, and our artwork is by Maddie Padilla. Follow the show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/intothetwilight. Send us an email or a fanfiction at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can find Allie at Into Wild Places and me at Cody Crow.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.